What's going on, Dragon Ball Super community? Elmo Gonzalez here with G Sports and Entertainment. We are here at Jacksonville Game Center. Best locals for all your gaming needs, especially Dragon Ball Super. We are here with the PPG Pro Play Tour champion in Atlanta,
the Janemba, or Dahan.
Dahan Hardesty. What's going on, Dahan?
It's going good. How's it going, everybody?
Congratulations on your victory this weekend in Atlanta. How was your weekend in general?
It was fun. Met a lot of great people, had some great games, just enjoy the overall experience. PPG did a really well job with the tournament.
Awesome. So having said that, how was the event in general for you?
It ran smoothly, had no problems with anybody, staffing was great, customer service is good.
So we noticed on the trophy, you see that right there, gentlemen, Janemba. In the field of top 16, you were the only Janemba player. How did it feel?
I felt a little alone out there with some of my Janemba brethren. But other than that, it's still a good deck, even though there was surrounding a sea of Brolys and babies. Those decks got a huge boost due to the power packs. I feel like I missed out on the memo of playing a power pack card, but we still stuck it out with Janemba.
So finishing 7-1 in Swiss, you only lost to, shout out to Jonathan Rodriguez, but you know, overall, how were your matchups?
Most of the matchups didn't feel terrible. The Broly felt manageable to a degree, but that more or less came down to play draw, if they saw a victory strike or not. But the way it turned out, it wasn't as bad as I thought going into it. The baby matchup was fine. Usually, since they're focused on now getting out the baby as soon as possible, I have answers to those, whereas other decks may have a little bit of trouble just getting their card immediately minus 20'd. Other than that, fought against a couple of spicy things, played against an Android's deck. That one, without the Cell Chain, didn't feel as powerful. Spicy Dende list, he had a power cycle to find his coolers, so he accelerated his own my own mill clock for him. But most of the time the mill felt a little slow, since I have the mill focus variation. What ended up happening was I killed the majority of people just through combat damage with like my Champas from my sideboard. So overall, mill's still a strong strategy, makes people play around it, but most of the games were ended through actual physical damage with Janemba.
Okay, awesome. So finishing 7-1, finishing 4th in Swiss, going to top 16. You finished, you ran through the whole tournament, obviously winning. Ladies and gentlemen, here's the deck profile.
All right. First off, we got our leader, the Janemba. Everybody at this point should know what he does, besides just the milling too. My favorite thing about him is just throw this auto negate. It forces everybody to play around it. You just can't shotgun me all willy-nilly, and it allows the pseudo combos to be more effective through the fact that they're trying to poke you down and force that negate, and if you keep your hand size up while stopping all their attacks, that negate is still looming and they have to play around it for the remaining of the game. Alright, so first off, we're going to go through a couple of just one-of here. We got one group lead to peel off. It was a cheap answer or a negate. It's like a 5th dimension magic against the Haida Masteries. In some cases, if resolved was better, you just took off the triple strike. If they didn't have the victory strike, you just take off the triple strike. So that way it's just 3 damage a poke to you, which is more manageable, and it's no longer, they're not going to dump their hand for it, and you can warp their card after they just leave it there, and they would take 2 turns to set up again, which gives you plenty of time to either mill them out or just force regular damage through on them. Alright. Up next, we got 4 Borgos. His effect of the mana energy didn't really come into play. If anything, he was just a one-drop cycler that was blue. That was it. It's just another Majin Buu, but with an upside that people have to respect. If not, you can just kind of get him. And it just adds another thing people have to watch out for. Mostly it was just 1 mana cycled and combo away at 5k.
We need 2 more foils. If any of you guys got them, reach out to us.
For my black card choices and the silver bullets, we have 2 Dendes to try to fight the Shenrons and any objection-based deck. Sadly, I didn't actually get to play against them. Kind of wish they were Kranoas at that point, or even another Kami. Most of the time, they just became like Borgos of just try to cycle for my beans and super combos, and just comboed off 5k. Up next, I played 1 Kami in the main board, just so I can say I have an answer towards anybody going wide. I managed to resolve his effect 1 time against the Broly Veggies, so that was the blowout for this card. Other than that, just 1k cycling. I played one Cronulla Mayboard, knowing that Broly was going to be a thing. Just to show off, like, usually the deck's playing like 2 Shugesh if I had it. If I didn't have it, the Shugesh is still manageable for the Janemba deck, as we don't really have targets that just get blown up by a Shugesh into a Goku to blow up your card. It's just more of this, it's a big tempo, it replaces itself, and can just nullify a super combo to being just vanilla 10k. I still played 3 Raging Spirits on Gohans against any aggro deck or deck that leaves creatures on board. You would just use this to help apply pressure back, and against the Broly matchups, you would combo with it and still just punch 15k vanilla. You just want to make them have a smaller hand size for when they do the Height of Mastery, you know, all in turn, or help apply pressure back onto their battle cards if they're the Broly aggro version. Alright, next we have my worst card in my deck. It's the Shenrons. I only played it one time against Jonathan Duvall. I thought the format was going to be slower and people would have less answers to this card, but it was the wrong call. It was the first card I sideboarded out. But against Duvall, it was insane. He couldn't remove them as I milled his Demigras. So I was like, that was a little bit unlucky for him. But this card helped me run away with the game and get back into it. If you do have a meta to where you can play with these and they're running less removal, like less babies that will either steal or kill it, this card will run away with the game unanswered, but it was still the first card I sideboarded out each time. Next, we have the Love and Hate card of the Janemba deck. Either you play this card or you hate it. It's just here to help find the little 3-drop Childish Hearts and the Evolve target, so you can set up early and have a nice slab of removal, or just to guarantee that you find a Janemba later on in the game by looking at the bottom of your deck. Next, we have one of the more important cards in the deck, which is the Childish Heart Janembas. They just act as, for me, I have Janemba swap. In most of the games, like in the last game against Rios, this gave me 2 additional attacks in the turn, which he couldn't just Roshi negate all of my things. So it adds a different dimension of 2 attacks if I have a blue mana to pay for it, and it can sit there as 3 mana just like spot removal, waiting for anybody to play anything worth it. It's one of the best cards against the baby matchup, because if they put you down to 4 on turn 2 or 3, whenever they get the baby out, you can play this. Their baby triggers, since that barrier won't KO it, and then you can go get your Demon Sword to answer the baby, and then pressure is thus removed. Now we have the other most important card in the deck. For Demon Sword Janembas, you want to run 4, you got to max this one out, because if you whiff on this, you just lose all your tempo, and it's just a big feels bad moment, and you're going to lose a lot of ground based on because of that. So you have to max these out so you can make sure that they're always in there, and try to keep track as much as possible of how many you've drawn and what are the chances of them being in your deck. But pretty standard. It activates main, Warp a card, middle 2, it's got deflect so they can't get Bloodlust, and it's just free 20k crit poke at anybody, especially if you play against Broly decks that and if you turn off their Shugeshes where they just don't get you, because you always need to activate it. I only played 2 Reality Benders. Most of the time when it came down to 4 mana, it didn't matter as much to play this for 1. Sometimes it came in handy if the board stays set up for it, but it's just another target if you do run out of Demon Swords for the Childish Heart Janemba. But this card is like one of the more cuttable cards. The Turbo Mill focus isn't as important anymore. Next, you could probably go up another one of these if you would like, but I only play 2 since most of my deck is cycling through. I can usually end up finding it. This card is still better than any of the Deadly Defenders and such. Just having the 20k base, and if you're at 5 mana, it replaces itself. It's just all about card efficiency. I'll always pay the 1 extra mana for that 5k additional base. The card has saved me too many times, just taking the pressure off my leader and basically giving me a sense of being on everything. Or he just eats mirror attacks, which works as a negate in a way. Pretty standard. We got 4 dimension magics. The best blue negate if you have that much blue mana. Pretty self-explanatory, as I can pay my life to untap 2 if it doesn't get bad ringed. It just forces answer and allows me to play more aggressively with my cards, of like tapping out 4 mana for Awe Inspiring while having this backup, so thus I can then defend my card. For Senzu Beans, every deck that plays blue should play these. Allows you to play defensive, extend your combos, helps you to shotgun and attack better, or just negate through a lot of pressure of 15k. So just put on Bean, try to stop their turn unless they want to waste resources. Now every Janemba deck should be doing this. you always want to play your 12 super combos. Can't stress this enough. You have to do this. This is the way you keep your hand advantage up while defending multiple attacks in a turn. It's the only way of doing that. This is the only reason I was able to survive through so many height of mastery turns, because I'll be able to awaken, throw a couple sensu beans off, and just pop as many of these as I could in a turn, just get over their 90k, which isn't that hard in Janemba if you have the right amount of beans plus these and such 5k combos. That's pretty much it for the main deck. Got nothing else for that. Now we're gonna move on to the sideboard. So played 3 Awakening Talent Pans in the sideboard for the mirror match and the Broly matchup. Since the Broly deck, if there's a stall variation of just Height of Mastery win, they will leave you unawakened and unable to flip mana, so you have to play these in order to awaken, and it's cheap early pressure against the Broly deck to either you force their awaken early and they cannot use the mana advantage anymore of the flip 2 on their Height of Mastery turn, or you just start eating combos out of hand. Because of this card, I was able to get a Broly player to use 3 super combos before even his Height of Mastery turn, and he wasn't drawing as many cards, unlike our friend Daniel's version. So when he did his Height of Mastery turn, his combo like tandem ended up only at like 60k, which was very easy for me to get over. Honestly, I just wanted this card was in my main deck. It overperformed more so than I thought it would. Another card that I wish was in my main deck. This is Furthering Instruction Champa. I wasn't joking when I said I ended up killing more people than milling them out. This card won me so many games to just hand shotgun people running out of resources after they try to kill me in one turn, and I still have a hand left over. So it was like my 65k with double strike ended up usually being enough in most situations as my opponent ran out of cards in hand. People may think this is weird, but I don't play any Mfuba's main board, only the sideboard. This is mainly for the Demigra matchup that Jonathan Rodriguez and Andrew Duvall had, and the baby matchups as a cheaper answer on the draw or on the play against the baby deck that try to go for early baby turns. And any deck that had a big boss monster and not playing Battering Laser, you want these in. The reason why I didn't play a main board is because the amount of yellow in the meta, the Battering Laser, it's too expensive to pay 2 mana for a Mfuba and just get blown out by a Battering Laser. You'll be out of resources and just end up dying anyways. It's just not worth the Hail Mary of it. I played an additional Chrono on the sideboard against any deck that was playing like more than 1 Shugesh or 2 maximum of Shugeshes. That was it, just in case I would swap out the Shenron for her. Same thing with Kami. If I needed just an additional 1 draw or any other deck that would go wide, I had the additional options of more of them. And the other thing is I played 3 Tokis in the sideboard. If a matchup really called for like it was necessary, like when I played against the Veggie decks, I boarded in all 3 of these in the extra Klonoa. So I had 5 chances at finding my Klonoa against them. And gave me other options to find Dendes and Kamis, and it was just a very flexible card. Last 3, I played 3 Trunks Power every single time. It's really good in the mirror match pressure against Janemba decks, because you can start looping them for 2 mana when they mill your other Trunks. So Overwhelm 2, just pull out another one of these from your Overwhelm from what's been milled, and it's just constant 20k double strike pressure on top of the Pans and the Champas you have in the deck. In the final turns, if they're at 2 life, you can always just warp back a Chomp in hand, so every threat you have now is lethal. It was only for the mirror match. There's no other need to board them in against any other mirror matches like Broly or such. It was too expensive for that. That's my Janemba deck.
And as y'all can see right now, champion, great job, MetaMats, for the awesome mat. All right, Dahan. So again, congratulations on a great weekend. You know, we look forward to seeing you at all the other events. Any shout outs you want to give?
Shout outs to G Sports and Entertainment, Jacksonville Game Center. Appreciate everything they do. And shout outs to PPG for running great events.
Awesome, guys. All right, this is Elmo Gonzalez with G Sports Entertainment. Next stop for everybody else is going to be Orlando. See y'all there.
See y'all there.